So, as somebody who loves horror movies, I've seen many people chainsawed, dismembered, possessed, probably emotionally scarred, but nothing could have prepared me for this. For the next 5 days, I'm watching every single Twilight movie. Yeah, Twilight. Because apparently one wasn't enough. Now, I know what you're thinking. Dude, those aren't horror movies. Oh, really? You got immortal vampires stalking a high school girl, shirtless werewolves imprinting on babies, and a love triangle that refuses to die. That sounds like psychological horror to me. I'm going into this completely unprepared. No nostalgia, no bias. Just me, 5 movies, and whatever's left of my sanity. Will I fall in love with Edward Cullen? Or will I become Team Jacob? Or will I walk out of this a completely different person? There's only one way to find out. For this challenge, I'm walking into a world where vampires sparkle, wolves don't wear shirts, and baseball is somehow dramatic. Welcome to Twilight. Twilight, directed by Catherine Hardwicke. Okay, so the movie starts off with our main protagonist, Bella. She's moving from Arizona with her dad after her dad and her mom split up. So Bella moves into this small town called Forks, Washington, and this is the place where she grew up. And this movie just starts off awkward because everybody remembers and recognizes her, and she has no clue of anything.
Hey, Bella. Yeah, you remember me? I played Santa one year.
Yeah, Waylon, she hasn't had a Christmas here since she was 4.
But anyway, she goes to her new school where she meets Eric, who is this creepy smiling kid.
You're Isabel Swan, the new girl. Hi, I'm Eric, the eyes and ears of this place. Anything you need? Tour guide, lunch date, shoulder to cry on?
Now Bella's at lunch, and she sits with Anna Kendrick. Didn't know she was in this movie. So Anna Kendrick is telling Bella about all the popular kids in school. And then through the window, Bella's like, hey, who are they? Then Anna Kendrick's like, those are the Cullens. They are brothers and sisters, and they all date each other. I thought we were in Washington, not Kentucky. So now we're finally introduced to Edward Cullen, who walks in like he's goddamn Bruce Wayne.
Who's he? Edward Cullen. He's totally gorgeous, obviously.
And they automatically put him up on a pedestal as the best looking guy in school. And then Edward and Bella stare at each other from across the cafeteria for an awkward amount of time. And then we cut to my favorite scene in the movie. So it's the middle of March. There's a fan on in this room. Bella walks in. Her and Edward are still awkwardly staring at each other. Bella walks in front of this fan, and then it cuts to Edward covering up his nose. So it seems like Bella just ripped the sickest fart ever. And throughout this scene, Edward is covering up his nose like he's trying not to smell Bella's smelly ass. And then he's just like nudging things away from her, slowly scooting away from her. Directly after the class, Edward is in the principal's office trying to get a different class. And it all seems like Bella just ripped the sickest fart in front of this fan. And I fucking lost it. But throughout the entire class, there's a montage of the teacher teaching whatever fucking bullshit he's teaching. And Edward just staring daggers at Bella. All because she ripped the sickest fucking fart. So Bella is just really confused by Edward, so she goes up to him to confront him on his weird behavior. Then all of a sudden, Edward just changes his mind. And now he's like Mr. Charming. And then they continue to have like one of the weirdest conversations I've heard.
Hello. I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to introduce myself last week. I'm Edward Cullen. So you enjoying the rain? What?
Well, I don't really like the rain. Any cold, wet thing, I don't really.
So now it's after school. Bella's outside walking to her car, and then all of a sudden, this van just comes careening at her. And then out of the shadows, like the goddamn Dark Knight, Edward just comes in and stops the van before it crashes into Bella. So then Bella goes to the hospital. Edward just shows up. So then Bella goes up to him and is like, "You gonna explain that van gimmick?"
You stopped the van. You pushed it away with your hand.
Well, nobody's gonna believe you. So
I just need to know the truth.
can't you just thank me and get over it?
Thank you.
You're not gonna let this go, are you?
No.
So later that night, Edward watches Bella sleep. Yep. And then we cut to Bella just walking aimlessly through the middle of a parking lot when 6 random hoodlums just come out to ambush her. And once again, out of the shadows comes Edward. It's like he's goddamn Batman or something. And he looks like he's just about to tear up these turkeys to death.
Get in the car.
So to reiterate, if you're Bella, from your perspective, there's this guy who's amazingly attractive. He's just staring at you. You walk into class, you rip a sick ass fart, and he's like, "This girl stinks." Enough where he's trying to transfer out. You have an awkward conversation about the rain. He's constantly at random places where you just happen to be at. He can stop a careening van from hitting you, and then all of a sudden you're about to get attacked, and then he comes speeding in and tells you to get into the car. If you're Bella, what do you do at this point? You get in the car, obviously. So Edward is just speeding through traffic, and he's like, "You gotta distract me. Distract me with something else before I turn around and beat those turkeys up." And then she's like, I got nothing. So at this point, I'm thinking, like, alright, is Edward gonna turn the car around and beat those guys up? Are we gonna get some action in this? No, he just continues to drive angry. And then Bella finds out there's more to Edward than just being a creepy weirdo.
So you followed me.
I was trying to keep a distance, and then I heard what those lowlifes were thinking.
You say you heard what they were thinking?
I can read every mind in this room, apart from yours. Money, cat, and then you, nothing.
Yeah, so Edward is like kind of like an X-Men, where he can read everybody's mind, but he can't read Bella. So for some reason, that makes her attractive towards him. And then Edward drops this line on her.
What is it?
I don't have the strength to stay away from you anymore.
So already, Bella is like the most popular girl in school. You got the 2 hottest guys in school fighting over Kristen Stewart, who's like, she's mid. So the rest of the dinner, they just stare at each other, and then they're on the drive home and they still stare at each other.
Your hand is so cold.
And then she starts asking questions in her head. Then later that night, she starts looking it up. She's like, there's animal attacks, there's cold skin. And then she starts going like, oh no, Edward is a very dark and brooding, handsome young man that nobody gets but me. And then she has the conclusion of, what if he's a dark, brooding, handsome, pale young man that's also a vampire? So Bella is convinced that he's a vampire now. So she's like, all right, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to confront him on being a vampire. And she does this in the woods, completely alone, away from anybody, anyone, not even Batman. Edward is just standing creepily behind Bella. And she's like, I know what you are. He's like, say it. Say it.
I know what you are.
Say it.
I believe in Joe Hendry.
So then Edward takes Bella to the top of the mountain and he shows her that he can sparkle.
This is what I am.
And he does this like it's supposed to be impressive. Like out of all the super cool vampire powers you have, you're like, look, check this out. I can sparkle.
I'm the world's most dangerous predator. Everything about me invites you in. My voice, my face, even my smell.
But in Edward's mind, he's like, hey, if I sparkle, this will scare her off. And she's just like, no, they have body lotions at Bed Bath & Beyond that sparkle. That's not scary, dude. So then Edward starts listing all of the reasons why she shouldn't be around him. Which, by the way, if somebody gives you an entire list of reasons why you shouldn't date them, you shouldn't date them. But Bella looks at Edward and she's just like, you got some amazing abs. And you know what? Kind of agree with her. Hey. Then we got to Bella waking up the next morning and she gives us some inner dialogue.
About 3 things I was absolutely positive. First, Edward was a vampire. Second, there was a part of him that thirsted for my blood. And third, I was unconditionally and irrevocably in love with him.
Which is absolute nonsense to say that you're in love with this guy that you've literally known for only a week. And oh yeah, I've been watching this movie for like 45 minutes at this point. I agree with you. So now that Edward and Bella are an official couple, Edward invites Bella over to his house.
Graduation caps?
Yeah, it's a private joke.
So she sees the graduation caps and she's like, what is this? He's like, oh yeah, it's like a joke or something. It's silly. It's like, dude, you are an immortal being. Like, vampire superpowers aside, like, dude, you don't have to keep repeating high school over and over and over again. You can easily pass for like 20, 21. Like, instead of spending your time at high school learning the same crap over and over and over again, there's only so many times you can read Of Mice and Men. Like, why don't you just use that time to just like hang out at bars? Like, you can probably drain drunk women that way. You could get into all sorts of fun vampire nonsense rather than going to high school for math. But anyway, we get this whole montage of them in a tree for some reason. Bella's on the phone with her mom talking about this hot guy she's dating, and then Edward just shows up because why not?
Mama, can I talk to you later?
Come on, we gotta talk boys.
How did you get in here?
The window?
Do you do that a lot?
I like watching you sleep.
So, they cuddle in bed, and he spends the rest of the night watching her sleep. So throughout the whole movie, they've been talking about these random animal attacks. And then we get the reveal that it's not animal attacks, it's these other weirdos that hide in the woods. And the reason why they show up is because they're like hunters, and they're hunting Bella. Why were they hunting Bella? Because she was the main character. And then we get the legendary baseball scene.
Vampires like baseball.
Well, it's the American pastime.
And this one gives the baseball scene from, you can't see it, Sleepaway Camp. So you all know how much I love the Sleepaway Camp baseball scene. Well, this scene gives the baseball scene in Sleepaway Camp a run for its money. Oh man, I thought the fart in front of the fan scene was hilarious. This one is even more hilarious. Over the top fly. The lady with her like leg trying to like throw the ball. It is some of the most over-the-top, nonsensical baseball stuff I have ever seen. I don't know if I can do it justice. You just have to watch it. It is hilarious. And then the scene ends with the hunter guys that are looking for Bella show up. And they're like, hey, can we play baseball too? But like what they really want is like, we want Bella. The Cullens are just like, no, we don't want to play baseball with you. We're done. Get out of here. And then they just start... They just start hissing at each other. But anyway, we cut to this like abandoned warehouse or something, and Edward and the guy with the ponytail, they just get into this big scuffle. And the ponytail guy, he's set up as like the big villain, even though this is like he was barely in the movie. But anyway, Edward beats the shit out of the ponytail guy using the power of love. Putting it back on. And then right before Edward is about to deliver the final death blow, the Cullens show up and they're like, no, Edward, don't do this. Don't kill. This isn't you. You don't kill. He goes, but I really want to kill him. They're like, dude, don't do this. Take Bella and walk away. And then the Cullens just snap the dude's neck. The ponytail guy, not Edward. And then we cut to the day of the prom. Bella comes walking down the stairs in the prom dress, like the standard teen comedy of... Oh yeah, and Bella was wearing a boot. Because there was the scene where the ponytail guy, he just like snapped her leg.
Cass is...
You're perfect.
And it cuts to Bella's dad. He's just like, come on, really, dude. Perfect. Look at her. Mid. Anyway, we're at prom and they're doing like the big dance. And then Edward's just like, seriously, Bella, you don't want to be with me.
You don't want this.
I want you. Always. I've decided.
So that's what you dream about. Becoming a monster.
I dream about being with you forever.
And, yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, I can't believe I forgot it. Why did I forget it? It's one of the best parts of the movie. There's this scene. I'm just going to show the clip because the clip itself is hilarious.
You better hold on tight, Spider Monkey.
Twilight. Twilight. New Moon. Directed by Chris Wen. So the movie starts off where Bella's like old as fuck. And Edward's still a teenager because he's a vampire.
Happy birthday, Bella.
And it turns out this whole thing is just some big nightmare. We cut to present day and it's her 18th birthday.
Happy birthday.
Don't remind me.
Oh, your birth is definitely something to celebrate.
Yeah, my aging's not.
You're aging. I think 18 is a little young to start worrying about that.
It's 1 year older than you.
No, it isn't. I'm 109.
I'm 109 and it's kind of weird. Just to kind of speed through everything, for the next like 20 minutes or so, we get some of the most bland, generic romance garbage that doesn't work on anyone.
Bella, you give me everything just by breathing. The only thing that can hurt me is you. And I don't have anything else to be afraid of. You're my only reason to stay alive.
Okay, so it did work. But then we cut to Edward's house where everybody is celebrating Bella's birthday and they're just showering her with a bunch of gifts. And then all of a sudden, she gets this wicked bad paper cut from a decorative ribbon. Which we've all gotten paper cuts before. Never from a ribbon. She is apparently just spraying cartoonish amounts of blood out of her finger, which gets all of the vampires like super horned up. And this scene is funny because in the first movie, he's like, Bella, I will never hurt you. I will do anything I can to protect you. And the first thing he does in the second movie is he just yeets her across the room. Then we cut to Edward and Bella alone in the woods. And Edward is delivering some bad news to Bella that him and his family have to move out.
We have to leave Forks.
Why?
Carlisle's supposed to be 10 years older than he looks. People are starting to notice.
Which he breaks up with her because he's like, hey, people are starting to ask questions. We're supposed to be younger than we actually are. Which leads me to my theory from the first movie. Why did they have to pretend to be high schoolers? But whatever, this is an excuse for Edward to break up with Bella.
If this is about my soul, take it. I don't want it without you.
It's not about your soul.
And Bella takes the breakup extremely well. Just kidding. For the next 6 months, she stares out the window making this face. So after all that time, what she does to get out of her funk is she starts hanging out with Jacob, and he's just like, I don't know, fixing cars or something. Then she tries to become friends again with her old friends that she was friends with for like 2 weeks, acting like she completely didn't ignore them for the past year.
I was just wondering if you wanted to go see a movie with me.
We should get a bunch of people to go. Do you guys want to go see Face Punch?
Face punch, yeah. Mike, hey, we're supposed to watch that. Remember the trailers, like,
Yeah?
punch faces.
Yeah. Movie night with Bella.
Yeah, they want to see this movie called Face Punch, which actually kind of sounds pretty sweet. They planned this big movie night. Nobody shows up except for Jacob and the random guy. I'm sorry, I completely forgot his name. And he gives off the vibe of that guy at every con. You know, the guy that always puts his phone on a timer, hands it to the person, take the picture, grabs a girl who's in cosplay, and then he holds her a little too close, a little too long, and he's always asking for a very creepy hug. He's essentially that guy. But anyway, we're at the movies. And we get one of the weirdest scenes. And this is legit what happens. And they're both just like, hey, I want to hold your hand, but I don't want it to look like I want to hold your hand. Like, who watches a movie like this? But anyway, Bella and Jacob leave the movie for how terrible it is. Kind of ironic if you think about it. And then Jacob tries to make a move where he's trying to hold her hand.
I feel bad. He probably has that flu that's going around.
Flings his hand off of her. And then she's like, ugh. Jacob just fucks off and leaves. And then we get a montage of Bella just like constantly calling Jacob. And Jacob is not picking up whatsoever.
Jake, your dad says you have mono. He won't let me visit, but would you call me? It's me again. I just wanted to hear your voice, so no pressure. Jacob, please. Call me.
So Bella gets so fed up with Jacob ignoring her that she's gonna go confront him in person, and she makes it to his house. He has a brand new haircut and no shirt. I'm Team Jacob now.
It's not you, it's me, right? Really?
It's true. I'm not good. I used to be a good kid. Not anymore.
And Bella is throwing herself at him. She's like, please, why won't you date me? And Jacob's like, yeah, I used to be a good boy, but now I'm a bad boy. Where's my Jacob shirt? Oh, I'm already wearing it. Can I wear like 2 Jacob shirts? So then we cut to Bella, who's just moping around in her bedroom. And then Jacob just like ninja climbs into her room.
Look, I'm sorry.
So Jacob just shows up in her room, showing off his 6-pack, and she just doesn't say anything and just feels his abs and same. But other than to show her his abs, the reason why Jacob's there is because he kind of alludes that he's a werewolf. Just like with Edward, she eventually figures it out, and then she goes over to his house to confront him, and then she finally sees for herself Jacob's big, deep, dark secret. So the family freaks out Bella. She gets scared. She's getting chased by a guy that just turned into a werewolf. And he's sprinting, and mid-air, he turns into a werewolf, and his jorts just rip completely off. Which leads me to believe that his whole property just has ripped up jorts everywhere. But anyway, Jacob saves her, and then we cut to Jacob and Bella in the car, and they're like about to make out. But Bella stops because she sees the Cullens car. You think it's Edward, but it's not. It's his sister. And she's there to check up on Bella because earlier she was about to jump off of a cliff.
You won't stay with me any other way.
Bella, please.
So Edward knows that she jumped off the cliff, and he's now thinking she's dead. Oh, and Edward is at like some random Italian city, and he just walks out in front of everybody and shows them his abs. I mean, come on. She was never into Jake until he cut his hair and stopped wearing t-shirts. Now Edward is just walking around with no shirt. So now we all know the type of guy that Bella's into, which is hunky boys with abs and... Same? But anyway, Bella just shows up out of nowhere, stops Edward from probably showing everybody his dick.
You're here. You're alive.
I needed to make you see me once. You had to know that I was alive, but you didn't have to feel guilty about anything. I can let you go now.
I just couldn't live in a world where you don't exist.
So then we cut to Bella and Edward walking to this vampire council, and they're just like, hey, why is Bella so special? And I'm like, yeah, I've been saying that since the last movie. So then we get the big reveal is that she's completely immune to vampire powers, and they're like, hey, we should turn her into a vampire. You know, it'd be a good idea if we wait till after graduation so she doesn't have to keep going to high school like you stupid idiots. And the movie ends with Edward staring at Bella for an awkward amount of time.
Marry me, Bella.
Yeah. He eventually proposes to her. And then you're thinking, oh my god, is Bella gonna go like, no, I can't marry you. I'm 18. I want to be a famous singer. Or is she gonna go, yes, take me right now. Let's get married like Corey and Topanga. But instead, we get her just breathing heavy. And that's it. Twilight. New moon. Twilight. Eclipse. Directed by David Slade. So the series is already pretty weird. This one gets even weirder. Let me explain. So the movie starts off with Bella being a total negative Nancy, and she's spouting her emo poetry.
Some say the world will end in fire. Some say in ice. From what I've tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire.
And then for the next, felt like 20 minutes, the only dialogue is Edward saying, marry me, and then Bella saying, nah.
Marry me.
No.
Marry me.
Bella keeps saying no to him. It's like you're gonna look at him in his gorgeous eyes and tell him no? I wouldn't. So anyway, she goes back home, and her dad is like, you're spending way too much time with Edward. You should probably hang out with some of your friends. You know, the friends that you met for 2 weeks before you met Edward.
Like Jacob. He's going through a really tough time right now. His dad's really worried about him.
So the dad convinces Bella to go hang out with Jacob. And it turns out that she can't go because her truck is messed up because Edward did something to stop her from going.
Hey, did you do this to my truck?
Bella, you have to understand. Your safety is everything to me.
So Edward's whole thing is, hey, I want to keep you safe, so you are not going anywhere. So, Edward and Jacob finally meet, and this is when I realize that this is the third movie, and they haven't interacted at all. What's funny is, and then he just has this dramatic walk. But anyway, Jacob tells Bella that the redheaded vampire from the first movie, I know what you're thinking, I completely forgot about her too. She's back in town and she's hunting vampires, specifically Bella. So instead of going to school, Bella just hops on the back of Jacob's motorcycle and leaves. And Edward's like, what the hell? And then there's this weird scene where Jacob's talking to Bella about imprinting.
Imprinting on someone is like when you see her, everything changes. All of a sudden, it's not gravity holding you to the planet. It's her.
And then we learned that there's these vampires from Seattle that are trying to get Bella. And to kind of speed stuff along, Bella just keeps going back and forth between Edward and Jacob. Cut to this scene where we're at this beautiful lake. Jacob pulls Bella close. He opens up his heart and pours all of his love out. And he says,
"And you need to know that I'm in love with you."
That he is in love with Bella. So, the conversation gets a little more weird.
I don't feel that way for you.
I don't buy it.
What don't you buy? That's how I feel.
You feel something else for me. You just won't admit it.
And I'm thinking, like, yeah, it's probably his abs. So now we're at graduation. Anna Kendrick is there. She's the valedictorian, so of course she's giving the speech.
This isn't the time to make hard and fast decisions. This is the time to make mistakes. Take the wrong train and get stuck somewhere. Fall in love. So make as many mistakes as you can. That way someday when they ask what we want to be, we won't have to guess. We'll know.
Yeah. So anyway, they just graduate. And you remember that army of vampires that Jacob warned Bella about? Neither do I. But anyway, they're coming on their way to get Bella.
The army's coming, and there aren't enough of us to protect the town.
Hold up. What damn army?
Newborns. Our kind.
What are they after?
They were passing around Bella's scent. A red blouse.
They're after Bella?
Yeah. So the vampires want Bella. Why does everybody want Bella? Like, she doesn't even close her mouth. And then we cut to Bella having another awkward conversation with her dad, like, hey, why didn't you ever get remarried?
Hey, Dad, I was wondering, why didn't you get remarried after Mom?
And then her dad gives her the best answer of why he never got remarried.
I don't know.
Yeah, it was a nothing burger. So Edward and Jacob, they take Bella out on a camping trip, and then Bella just bleeds all over the trees. The temperature is getting cold, but inside the tent, things are getting hot.
Forget it. She may need her toes someday. And let's face it, I am hotter than you.
You're goddamn right, Jacob. But unfortunately, they don't do anything, so we don't get to see nothing. But Jacob gets in the sleeping bag with Bella to warm her up. So it's the next morning. Jacob, without a shirt, overhears Bella and Edward talking about how Bella said that she would marry Edward as long as she can get finger cuffed. And she's like, hey, I'm willing to let you clap these cheeks.
It's fine.
Believe me, I want to. I just want to be married to you first.
And then Edward's like, all right, let me clap them cheeks, but we need to be married first. So Jacob overhears this, and then he gets pissed and he just fucks off and leaves. Bella, who is a fucking bitch because she can't have one guy in love with her, she has to have two guys in love with her, she chases off after Jacob.
Maybe I'll get myself killed and make it simple for you.
No, just, Jake, stay.
Give me one good reason.
Because I don't want to lose you.
It's not good enough.
Jacob! Kiss me.
Yeah, she demands Jacob kiss her, even though she's willing to let Edward clap her cheeks. But she just pushed Edward aside and was just like, Jacob does have nice abs. I want you to kiss me. Let me lick them too. And then Jacob carries her shirtless through the woods. And I just want to say something real quick. Bella kind of sucks. Like, a lot. She's taking these two well-intentioned guys. Edward, who can have anybody he wants. He's charming. He's got the looks. He's got nice abs. And then you got Jacob, who also is charming, got the looks, incredible abs. Both are incredibly cool dudes with a lot to offer. Bella is just there. And the entire time, both of these guys are pushing every other woman aside just for Bella. And what does Bella do? She fucking honeypots them. Bella sucks. But anyway, back to the movie. The vampire army shows up, and it turns out that the redheaded vampire from the first one was behind it the entire time. Edward and the redheaded vampire get into this big fight, and then Edward just knocks the fuck out of her. My guy knows how to fight. And Jacob totally gets his ass kicked trying to save Bella. But post-fight, Jacob is laying in bed. He pulls Bella close. And then he says,
He's not as perfect as you think.
I know who he is.
I'm exactly right for you, Bella. It would be as easy as breathing with me.
It is as easy as breathing, Jacob. So the movie ends with Edward and Jacob in this romantic, beautiful flower garden.
You're trying to make everyone else happy. But you're already giving away too much.
You're wrong. This wasn't a choice between you and Jacob. It was between who I should be and who I am.
I can see like that being very poetic in your head, but when actually spoken, it just sounds like... Well, it actually sounds pretty typical for Bella.
I've never felt normal. Because I'm not normal.
Yeah. I could have told you you're not normal the second you farted in front of that fan. And, yeah, that's pretty much it. Twilight. Eclipse. Twilight. Breaking Dawn, Part 1. It's a two-parter because of course it is. Directed by Bill Condon. The movie starts off with Bella over-dramatizing the previous 3 movies.
Childhood is not from birth to a certain age. And at a certain age, the child is grown and puts away childish things.
Yeah, putting aside childish things like... But anyway, everybody's preparing for the big wedding between Bella and Edward. And then Bella's doing the thing where like, I don't know how to walk on heels. But anyway, the one chick tells Bella, go the fuck home.
You, go home and get lots of beauty sleep. That's an order.
I didn't have the mic plugged in. Anyway, Bella is bent over in bed. And guess who shows up right behind her? Yep, it's Edward.
I was just checking for cold feet.
Yeah, Edward just says, I'm here to check on your cold feet. Gross. Edward is just like, hey, are you sure, you still want to get married? Bella's like, yeah. And then Edward's like, yeah, I've been waiting a century to meet somebody like you.
I haven't told you everything about myself.
Alright, dude, you break into people's houses and watch them sleep, and now you're telling her you have a thing with feet? What else do you have to tell her? Then we get a dream sequence where Bella has a dream where she's marrying Edward. Then it's the next morning, actual time for the wedding. And then Bella looks like she's about to shit her pants. Of course. Bella and Edward, they say their vows to have and to hold. They do this without an officiant, by the way.
To have and to hold.
For better or for worse.
Richer, poor.
In sickness and in health.
Anyway, they're now married, but later that night, Edward tells Bella, I got one more surprise for you.
The best man didn't have time to get a tux.
Jacob!
Yep, Jacob's there, and then Bella just kind of pushes Edward aside and runs right into Jacob's arms. And then Jacob's like, you could have been with me. So, another reason why Bella sucks is because on her fucking wedding night. She's still like, hey Jacob, I want you to clap these cheeks. And this leads to a big scuffle between Edward and Jacob. Edward takes Bella to a deserted island. So Edward's ready about to clap them cheeks. And then Bella's like, hey, I want to be finger cuffed.
Don't ruin this.
I've already ruined it.
Why can't you see how perfectly happy I am? Or was 5 seconds ago?
Edward cannot control his emotions while they're trying to do the finger cuff. Apparently is bruising her during sex. Wow. Robert Pattinson is really dark and brooding in this movie. Makes sense why he was Batman. But you know what they say? Vampires can turn into bats. Oh, come on. Come on. That was hilarious. Come on. No, that was a good time joke. It makes sense. So for the next couple of minutes, Bella's just like, hey, Edward, you wanna... And then Edward is just like, nah, you're Kristen Stewart. How about we just play chess instead? Anyway, 2 weeks go by. Something is a little different in her stomach. What could it be?
I know that it's impossible, but I think that I'm pregnant.
Is this even possible?
Which also has me thinking, how is this possible? Because if vampires have no heartbeat, there's no blood flow going to his... Can vampires get boners? Jacob is like, you look terrible, and I'm like, same.
You look terrible.
And then Bella reveals that she's already 9 months pregnant.
You can tell me what's wrong with you? You did this.
And then Jacob gets pissed at Edward for impregnating his wife. It's revealed that the baby that Bella is pregnant with is like sucking the life out of her. And Bella still wants to keep the baby. So Edward knows that Bella won't listen to him. So he goes up to Jacob to talk to her. And Edward is like, hey, we gotta get rid of the baby. Jacob ends up talking to Bella anyway.
Jake, I can do this. I'm strong enough.
Oh, come on. You can spout that crap to your bloodsucker, but you don't fool me. I can see what that thing's doing to you.
You're wrong.
What was the point? Of me loving you, you loving him?
Yeah, Jacob. I've been asking that throughout all of these movies. So then we cut to Jacob, who's now a wolf. And he's talking to all his other wolf buddies that like, hey, the baby that Bella is carrying can kill us. Why, you might ask? I have no idea. So the wolves are like, okay, we need to take care of the baby. We need to take care of Bella right now. And then Jacob's like, hold on. I might get another chance at clapping those cheeks. So Jacob is now like trying to stop his wolf buddies from killing Bella. And Jacob very dramatically stands up to the entire wolf clan by giving this very dramatic speech. But the thing is that they're all wolves and it's fucking hilarious.
I am the grandson of Ephraim Black. I am the grandson of a chief. I wasn't born to follow you or anyone else.
Anyway, so back to Bella. We get the reveal that the baby is killing Bella much faster than she originally thought. Jacob comes up with the idea that since the baby is half vampire, that the baby is sucking the blood out of Bella, which I guess makes sense.
That is probably just looking for someone to sink its teeth into.
If it's craving, it's not gonna want animal blood.
So they're all sitting around and they get the idea like, hey, the baby needs blood. So they put blood in like a McDonald's cup. Then they force Bella to drink the blood out of a McDonald's cup. And this is supposed to be like a very serious part of the movie, but Bella's just like, oh wow, thanks. But Bella drinks all of the blood, and then suddenly Edward can hear the baby's thoughts. And then I was like, oh yeah, he can read minds. I forgot about that.
He likes the sound of your voice.
You can hear him?
He likes my voice as well.
Yeah, Edward, I do like the sound of your voice. So.
What do you hear?
So strange. I thought he was like me, but he's not. He's like you.
And then we cut to later that night where Bella tells Edward, Jacob, and the rest of the clan that, hey, these are the crappy names I came up with for the baby.
If it's a boy, EJ. Edward Jacob.
Why don't you tell him the girl's name?
I was playing around with our mom's names. Renee and Esme. And I was thinking, Renesmee.
And I know these movies are like wicked popular, but how many babies after this movie was made were named Renesmee? Or Edward and Jacob, for that fact. We cut to Bella on her deathbed, dying. Edward injects Bella with his blood to help save her. Jacob is pissed at Edward.
You deserve to live with this.
So the movie ends with Bella dying. Hold your applause. There's still one more movie, so clearly she lives. But then we get a post-credit scene where Jacob's like, hey, Bella's dead. There's no reason for me to protect her anymore. But I'm kind of into that baby. And then Jacob sees the baby and he just falls in love with it. What the fuck? Oh, and Bella's now a vampire. Twilight, Breaking Dawn, Part 1. Twilight, Breaking Dawn, Part 2, directed by Charlie Band. No, it's Bill Condon again. It might as well have been Charlie Band. So the movie starts off with Bella and Edward looking in a mirror, and Bella's like, hey, I'm a vampire now. Which is funny because don't vampires not have reflection in mirrors? She grabs Edward and pulls him into like a forceful hug. And then Edward's like, you're a lot stronger than I am now.
You're a lot stronger than I am right now.
And it's like, dude, we all seen you without your shirt. So now that Bella is now a vampire, she's like, hey, I want to see Renesmee.
Renesmee.
She's incredible.
Where is she? I have to see her.
And then Edward's like, hold up, no, you're not ready. We need to eat first. So then we get some of the best CGI. Where Edward and Bella are running through the woods and they're just catching animals and eating them. But after their like whole CGI chase meal thing, they go home. And can you guess who's there?
I would keep my distance for now.
It's safer for the baby to see how you do with me first.
It's Jacob. It's Jacob, obviously.
Since when do you care about Renesmee?
And then Bella's like, why are you so interested in Renesmee? And then Jacob has to go, well, Bella, I'm now in love with your daughter. Your baby infant daughter. So, we get another fart joke.
All right. Take a whiff.
Take a whiff. Then we cut to the scene where Bella finally meets Renesmee for the first time. And she has the reaction you would assume she would have.
Rose.
Yeah, she's just like, what's up with this CGI baby? But then this is where the reveal where Jacob tells Bella what he was about to tell her before he farted. But then Bella just yeets Jacob out of the house and immediately starts cutting a promo on him.
You imprinted on my daughter?
It wasn't my choice.
She's a baby!
And then Jacob gets all defensive. He's like, hey, you remember how you were cool with me like 3 days ago?
Do you remember how much you wanted to be around me 3 days ago? That's gone now, right?
Long gone.
Because it was her. From the beginning, it was Nessie who wanted me there. Nothing ever made sense before. You, me, any of it. And now I understand why. This was the reason.
Yeah. So it's revealed that the reason why 5 movies in, why Jacob was in love with Bella was because he was in love with her unborn baby that wasn't even made yet. So, we cut to a scene where Bella, and she's like, But she doesn't tell her dad jack shit.
Is that Charlie?
He's been calling twice a day.
And they're like, hey, everybody thinks Bella's dead, so we can't have the reveal of her being alive. And they come up with this plan, and Jacob immediately just hates it.
You miss this place.
We'll come back. We always do.
Nobody said anything about leaving.
Once people believe Bella's dead, we can't risk anyone seeing.
It's probably because he doesn't want to be away from the baby. Get this guy away from the baby. So then Jacob goes to Bella's dad's house, and then Jacob just starts getting naked in front of him.
Here goes nothing. You don't live in the world you think you do.
So, Jacob turns into a werewolf, and then he tells her dad that everything is okay, Bella's fine. And then Bella's dad is like, what the fuck is going on? So he runs over to the Cullen's house.
No more going away.
Dad, you're just gonna have to trust that for whatever reason, I'm all right.
I mean, I just watched a kid I've known his entire life turn into a very large dog.
And then Bella's just like, oh, you're pissed now? Well, here's your granddaughter. Yeah, I know when I do these videos, I try to focus on just the story and not the filmmaking aspect, but this CGI baby is just really distracting. So they show Bella's dad the CGI baby, and then the baby turns into this. What the fuck? Anyway, we skip ahead a couple years. Renesmee is now like a 10-year-old kid, and the entire time, everybody just does nothing. Like, they all just like gave up on the whole like, hey, we should go to high school even though we're like 100-something years old. And they're like, no, let's just be people, like what Mark said in the first movie. And then the one girl, I don't remember her name, I think it's Amber? She gets a vision of the future. She drops the flowers on the floor, and then this is pretty much what happens. Bella and Renesmee are playing in the snow, and then Renesmee gets like superpowers, and she just starts flying in the air. And there's this one vampire who goes to the vampire council to tell on Bella, saying like, hey, she turned her kid into a superpower vampire or something.
The Cullens. They've done something terrible.
And I'm not really clear on why. I think they have to get like approval from the vampire council to turn somebody into a vampire. I don't really know many of the rules, and I was kind of falling asleep at this point. But pretty much the vampire council, they're coming to Forks to deal with the Cullens, Bella, Edward, and Renesmee. And then the next scene is just the Cullens are like assembling a crew of just a ton of vampires. And Edward is wearing this like really cool robe. Team Edward all day. But they're like, hey, check it out. Renesmee is not like a full vampire. She's like a half vampire. That's why she could grow like... She's not permanently a vampire baby. And then Edward and them, they take Bella out in the middle of the woods. They're like, alright, Bella, we gotta find your superpower. That's right. Vampires have superpowers.
Edward, you didn't tell me your wife was a shield.
What's a shield?
The ones I've met are so different.
It's a defensive talent.
That's why I couldn't read your mind even before.
And then we get the big reveal of the reason why Edward couldn't read Bella's mind in the first movie is because she has a superpower. A superpower she had when she was still a human and didn't have vampire powers yet. And to be honest, I kind of fell asleep for the next couple of minutes. So I'm going to tell you what I remember when I woke up. A massive army of the vampire clan shows up. And they're like... gonna do something. But the head vampire guy, he's like, hey, Renesmee, come here. So he calls Renesmee over, and I fucking lost it. Look at this guy's face. least Jacob never did that. So it turns out that everything is cool with Renesmee. She's allowed to be whatever she is. And then even Amber was just like, hey, creepy guy, everything's all cool.
Alice, we're so glad to see you here after all.
I have evidence the child won't be a risk to our kind.
So it turns out that the creepy vampire guy was just already gonna take out Renesmee and the entire Cullen clan because of... I don't know.
It doesn't matter what I show you. You still won't change your decision.
But then a big scuffle ensues. And then the movie just turns into X-Men. Vampires are just like zipping around doing their little superpowers. So Edward and the Cullen clan, they just like Batista bomb the creepy vampire. And they're like, all right, let's get ready to like finish him off. It turns out the whole thing was a dream and it didn't happen. And then two vampires from the Brazilian Amazon show up and they're like pretty much naked. And then they're just like, hey, we have a half vampire guy and he's pretty cool. And then the creepy vampire guy's like, oh, okay. And then everybody just fucks off and leaves. And then the movie ends with Bella and Edward in a flower garden again.
I want to show you something.
For a second, I legit thought that she was gonna whip him out. She doesn't. She just shows him highlights of the previous Twilight movies. And that's where this movie and the entire saga ends. Twilight, Breaking Dawn, Part 2. So, that was the Twilight saga. I went into this thinking it would be like a fun little experiment, and I'm leaving with questions. A lot of questions. About love, immortality, and why every vampire looks like they haven't slept since 2008. Somewhere along the way, I laughed, I cringed, I got weirdly invested into hunky boys. And now I'm stuck with one question I thought I would have answered by the end of this. Am I Team Edward or am I Team Jacob? And honestly, I still don't know. Because on one hand, Edward is a mysterious, brooding vampire with amazing abs that watches you sleep, which is either romantic or a felony. But then Jacob's out there, loyal, passionate, emotionally available, amazing abs, and also turns into a dog when he gets mad. So really, what I learned is this. No matter who you choose, you're gonna have to overlook a lot. Maybe the real answer is I'm team I survived. You made it this far, respect, because you did this with me. And if you got a strong opinion, I need to hear it. Because clearly, I'm not qualified to decide. Thank you for watching, and please like, share, and subscribe. And remember, some monsters hide in the woods, and others, they sparkle.